You step on the gas pedal, and instead of taking off, your car just sits there for a split second thinking about it. It feels lazy, sluggish, maybe even a little jerky when it finally decides to move. You might think your transmission is slipping or your fuel pump is dying, but before you panic and hand over a massive chunk of cash to a mechanic, you need to hear this because the fix is likely free and takes exactly 2 minutes in your driveway. If you want to keep dodging those massive repair bills and learn the real garage secrets, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a trick. Now, let's talk about your electronic throttle body. Back in the day, there was a physical cable connecting your right foot to the engine. When you pressed the gas, a wire physically pulled the throttle valve open. Simple. But modern cars, pretty much anything built in the last 20 years, use a drive-by-wire system. Your gas pedal is basically just a video game controller. It sends an electronic signal to the engine computer, the ECU, and then the ECU tells a little electric motor to open the butterfly valve in the throttle body. Over time, as you drive thousands of miles, a thin layer of carbon buildup naturally forms around that valve. The computer is smart, so it slowly adjusts its calibration to compensate for that gunk, keeping your idle smooth. But here's the catch. If your battery dies, or if you replace it, or even if the car just sits for a long time without running, the computer completely loses its memory. It forgets all those micro adjustments. Suddenly, it's trying to operate a dirty throttle body using factory-fresh settings. That is why your car hesitates. It literally doesn't know where the gas pedal 0 point is anymore. You don't need to replace the part. You just need to teach the computer how to read the pedal again. Make sure your engine is cold and your battery is fully charged. Without putting your foot on the brake, turn the ignition to the on position so all the dash lights illuminate, but do not crank the engine. Wait exactly 3 seconds. Then, mash the gas pedal all the way to the floor and release it 5 times within 5 seconds. This tells the computer to wake up and learn the maximum and minimum pedal limits. After that, wait exactly 7 seconds, then press and hold the gas pedal to the floor for 20 seconds. Keep holding it until you see the check engine light start flashing, and then stay solid. That means the ECU is in learning mode. Take your foot off, turn the key off, then start the engine, and let it idle for 5 minutes without touching anything. The computer will recalibrate the air and fuel mix based on the pedal relationship, and your throttle response will be buttery smooth again. Speaking of dead batteries, if you drive a Toyota Camry, a Corolla, or really any Japanese car from Honda, Nissan, or Subaru, you've probably dealt with the possessed window glitch. You change the battery, or give the car a jump start, and suddenly your automatic windows stop working. The one-touch auto up and down feature is completely dead. Or even worse, you roll the window up, and right before it closes, it freaks out, thinks something is trapped in the glass, and rolls itself back down halfway. Mechanics love this one because they can charge you an hour of labor to fix it. But the solution is ridiculously simple. Your power window control module just lost its memory. It forgot where the top and bottom of the door frame are. To teach it the limits again, skip the auto clicker on the switch. Push the window switch down manually and hold it. Roll the glass all the way down, and once it hits the bottom, keep holding the switch down for about 2 to 5 seconds. Then, pull the switch up manually to roll the glass all the way up. Once it closes completely, keep pulling the switch up for another 2 to 5 seconds. That's it. The window motor learns its endpoints again. For a Honda, hold it for 2 seconds. A Nissan takes about 3 seconds. Subarus might need 5. If you're in a Mazda, you have to make sure you use the manual position on the switch, not the automatic detent, but the process is exactly the same. Now, if you want to talk about bad signals ruining your engine performance, let's look at the mass airflow sensor, or the MAF sensor. This tiny little wire sits in your air intake and measures exactly how much air is entering the engine. Whether you're driving a Ford F-150 pushing heavy loads or a BMW E90 carving back roads, this sensor dictates your fuel mixture. Over time, microscopic dust, pollen, and even oil vapor from aftermarket reusable air filters coat that tiny wire. When the MAF sensor is dirty, it can't read the air volume correctly. It usually underreports the air, causing the engine computer to dump way too much fuel into the cylinders to compensate. Your MPG completely tanks, your idle gets rough, and you are basically dumping raw fuel into your catalytic converter, which will eventually destroy it. Don't just spray brake cleaner or carburetor cleaner in there. Those harsh chemicals will melt the delicate plastics and ruin the sensor instantly. You have to use a specific, dedicated MAF sensor cleaner spray. It evaporates in seconds and leaves absolutely zero residue. A clean MAF sensor guarantees a clean, complete burn in the combustion chamber, which saves your catalytic converter down the line. Let's shift gears to something that actively destroys drivetrain. If you own a four-wheel drive truck or SUV, you need to respect the mechanical limits of your transfer case. I see people leaving their trucks in 4-high while driving on dry, flat pavement, and it makes me cringe. When you're in two-wheel drive, all the engine power goes to one axle, usually the rear. But when you engage four-wheel drive, the transfer case locks the front and rear drive shafts together, splitting the power. Here is the problem with dry asphalt. When you take a turn, your front wheels travel a wider arc and spin faster than your rear wheels. On snow, mud, deep sand, or wet rocks, the tires can easily slip a little bit on the loose surface to make up for that difference in speed. But on dry pavement, the tires grip the road completely. They can't slip. So all that rotational tension binds up the driveline. You'll actually feel the truck hopping or skipping during tight U-turns. That binding force travels straight back into your transfer case and transmission. The gears literally grind against each other under massive stress. Driving in four-wheel drive on dry pavement can cut the lifespan of your transfer case by 40%. Use four-wheel drive only when the ground is slippery enough to allow the tires to scrub. The second you hit dry pavement, switch it back to two-wheel drive. And while we're talking about saving hardware, let's talk about fuel. Everyone loves finding the cheapest gas station in town. Saving a few cents a gallon feels like a win. But putting cheap, unbranded gas in your tank is a massive gamble for your engine health. Cheap gas meets the bare minimum federal requirements, but it lacks the heavy-duty detergent packages that keep your engine clean. Every time an injector sprays that cheap fuel, it leaves behind a microscopic layer of carbon. After a few hundred gallons, those microscopic layers turn into a thick, crusty buildup on your fuel injectors, your intake valves, and the top of your pistons. Clogged injectors ruin your spray pattern. Dirty valves cause hesitation, and piston carbon buildup increases your compression ratio just enough to cause engine knock and premature detonation. You should always look for top-tier certified gas. That certification means the fuel contains a massive dose of cleaning additives that constantly wash your fuel system as you drive. Spending an extra couple of dollars per tank on quality fuel is the cheapest insurance policy you can buy. It keeps the injection system flawless and is a huge factor in whether your engine hits that 200,000-mile mark without needing a major teardown. Now, maintaining your engine is great, but being able to stop the car is slightly more important. Let's talk about a fluid almost everyone ignores until it's too late. Your brake fluid. Brake fluid is highly hygroscopic, which is just a fancy scientific word, meaning it actively absorbs moisture from the air. Even in a sealed system, microscopic water molecules find their way through the rubber brake hoses and seals over time. Brand new .3 or .4 brake fluid has a boiling point well over 400 degrees Fahrenheit, but as it absorbs water, that boiling point drops significantly. If you're driving down a steep mountain grade or doing a lot of heavy stop-and-go driving, your brake calipers get incredibly hot. That heat transfers into the fluid. If there is water trapped in the brake fluid, that water boils and turns into steam. Unlike liquid, steam is compressible. So when you step on the brake pedal, instead of clamping the brake pads against the rotors, you're just squishing steam bubbles in the brake lines. Your pedal goes straight to the floor, and the car doesn't stop. You should be flushing your brake fluid completely every 2 years or 24,000 miles, regardless of how it looks. If your brake pedal feels spongy, this is almost always the culprit. I'm about to tell you the biggest secret to keeping a Japanese engine alive practically forever. But before I reveal this crucial maintenance hack that most mechanics keep to themselves, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel bring you these deep dives, and you definitely want to be around for the next one. Okay, let's talk about oil consumption. There is a massive misconception that a good engine burns absolutely zero oil. That is completely false, especially in modern Japanese cars. In Japan, popping the hood to check the oil is a regular ritual that happens every 2 weeks. Why? Because a perfectly healthy motor can consume half a quart of oil every 600 miles without blowing any blue smoke out the tailpipe or leaving a single drop on your driveway. The oil control rings on modern pistons are designed with lower tension to improve fuel economy, which naturally allows a tiny bit of oil to slip past and burn off in the combustion chamber. A driver can easily cover a few thousand miles between oil changes and never realize their engine is slowly starving. Toyota engineers actually discovered that keeping the oil level perfectly topped off at the maximum mark reduces internal engine wear by 40%. Don't wait for the low oil pressure light to illuminate on your dashboard. If that light comes on, the damage is already happening. You want to pull the dipstick regularly. If you see the oil level drop even a tiny fraction of an inch below the full line, top it off immediately. Keeping the oil capacity completely full ensures that the pressure balance at every critical journal bearing, camshaft lobe, and timing chain tensioner is perfectly maintained. It also helps the oil regulate engine temperature because having less oil in the pan means the remaining oil has to work harder and gets much hotter, breaking down faster. Finally, since we are talking about temperature changes and pressures, let's address the most common dashboard light that terrifies people every single winter: the tire pressure monitoring system, or TPMS light. The first morning the temperature really drops outside, millions of drivers see that little yellow horseshoe with an exclamation mark pop up on their dash and panic, thinking they have a flat tire. Here is the science behind it. Cold air is denser than warm air. As the ambient temperature outside drops, the air molecules inside your tires slow down and take up less space. The rule of thumb in the garage is that for every 10 degrees Fahrenheit the temperature drops, your tire pressure will drop by about 1 pound per square inch. So, if you set your tire pressure to 35 pounds per square inches in the middle of a hot summer day, and then a freezing winter morning rolls around, your tires might naturally drop to 29 or 30 pounds per square inches without any leaks at all. That sudden drop is enough to trigger the sensors. The fix is simple. Check your tires when they are completely cold, meaning the car has been sitting overnight, and inflate them back to the recommended pressure listed on the sticker inside your driver's side door jamb. Don't look at the max pressure on the sidewall of the tire itself. Look at the door sticker. And remember to check your spare tire too, because a flat spare sitting in the trunk can sometimes trigger the exact same warning light. Keeping your car running right doesn't always require a massive toolbox or a mechanical engineering degree. Sometimes it's just about understanding the basic physics and logic behind the machinery. A little bit of observation and knowing these small resets and rules can literally save you thousands of dollars over the lifespan of your vehicle. I want to hear what you are dealing with in your own garage right now. Drop a comment below and let me know your car's make and model, any weird check engine codes you are fighting, or how your fuel MPG has been lately. Let's get a conversation going and solve some of these mysteries together. And if you found any of these tips helpful today, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and keep those engines running strong. See you in the next one.